So as some of you know, I feel like the tripod is one of the most important things in your bag because this is the thing you're holding and adjusting all day. So it's really important to get something that's smooth, that works well, and that has a really good weight to it. So F-Stoppers reviewed this thing a while back and it really piqued my interest, and I stopped into the shop and I checked it out and I was really impressed by it, just my cursory overlook of it. And so I decided, why not do a quick little review of it here today. So the first thing I'll touch on is the height. And I know it's raining today, so I had to go inside, but I'm gonna go ahead and extend this thing the best I can. And we'll talk a little bit more about this later, but these are really nice. I mean, I'll go ahead and kind of compare it to my Enduro in a minute here. But this you can't imagine how nice this is. I mean, compared to my tripod is a little old, so maybe it's not fair to compare it. All right, so there we go on the height. And I kind of forget, to be honest, how high the video is going up. I think at least to the top of the threshold there. But as you can see, I'm almost 6 feet. So the tripod is about 6 feet tall, but without the center column. So if you go ahead, this is a great center column. I love the height of it. It really gives you a lot of extension. And to me, that is about as high as I want my tripods to go. And I got the extra large version, or the extra, it's $480 if you're looking for it. And it's the extra tall version, that might be what it's called. But whatever the case, I really love this height because my tripod is about this high, and I don't really want a tripod that's higher than this because it's gonna give me problems. It's hard to kind of get the camera this high and focus and all that. So this is about the maximum for me, and I would suggest it for you too, okay? So this is gonna be linked below, okay? So you can check it out. But again, I just think this is about the perfect height for me, for a tripod, for me to shoot my exteriors. When you're shooting a 1-story home and a 2-story home, it's really nice to be able to get this high, you know, at the very least. It would be nice to get a little higher sometimes, but that's just a little bit more of a hassle. You know, if the camera was 4 more feet up there, I just don't want to deal with that, okay? So that's my personal opinion on the matter. Just to make sure, it's the TMA48CXL and the Mach 3 tripod, and the maximum height is 82.87 inches. So I have no space here. I'll kind of leave this guy here, and I'm just gonna sort of compare it to my Enduro. It's really interesting because these companies, Benro and Enduro, are really related. You guys can leave in the comments how they're related, but I look at all the fasteners and the designing of everything and they're like exactly the same. But the difference that I'll note, and you guys are just gonna have to believe me, is this tripod really functions a lot smoother. So, and of course, you know, I've had this one for a while, but this tripod, like, I had trouble with this leg. Even when I tighten it, it's at the point where it's kind of loose and it can get dangerous sometimes. I kind of get my fingers stuck in there, but I hope that doesn't happen with this one. But the other thing is, these kind of never opened up as smooth as this one, even when I first got it. They're still great. I mean, I'm not complaining about it, but this one definitely does feel smoother. And the height on this tripod is about the same. I'll go ahead and link this in the description, but they don't make it anymore. But the one thing I'll note is it's really heavier. And this is again gonna be it's gonna be a tough topic for you to tackle. I personally would go with something lighter like this, but they say carbon fiber tripods are good with handling like a little bit of vibration and stuff, so they might be better than something aluminum like this. So just once again, just playing with these a little bit. I mean, it's not bad. This Enduro is not bad. So I think they really got something going with this, but what's happened is they've just really perfected their design with this tripod, okay? I mean, you can just feel it. It's lighter, and it just tends to work better. The center column is such an important feature on a tripod when you're doing interiors work, because you're going from, say, one bedroom to the other, and you want to get your legs as level as possible, but then if possible, you want to only be varying your center column from shot to shot. And what I've found with my old Enduro is that the center column is tough to get up and down, and it could be aging, but I feel like it was like this when I first got it. It's just kind of tough to adjust. See, every time I do it, I even put a little bit of grease in there one time and it worked, but I find I hold it from there and like the grease got on my hand. So don't forget, the center column is just so important going from shot to shot when your tripod is staying about the same height. You know, when you're going, 3 feet to 5 feet, you can't do it, right? But when you're going 3 feet to 3.5 feet, like that, stuff like that, one bedroom to the next, you might just need to go up like this. So important. And this guy is a little tough. And so I'm just gonna try this. So this one has a different loosening lever. And again, it's maybe not the fairest. You guys can take the fact that it's new into consideration, but it does feel a lot better to me, okay? A lot easier. And I believe it's quite a bit longer too. So I'm not sure about that. Maybe you can tell from that angle better than I can. But it feels a tad longer and it definitely moves easier. And this guy, this rotating tightening lever here, is also easier to maneuver, okay? So overall, the center column, which again is super important for us, is really easy to operate and really smooth. So just little features. It's amazing how similar it is to my old tripod. Just little features that you might be interested in. It has a little holder ring for, say, a CAMRANGER, which I need. And so my old one had the exact same thing. It has a little bubble level right here that I know you can't see, that this one has too, but I don't use this. And it has the same exact system that my old tripod has, where you pull these legs out and then there's 2 notches. That's one. And so you could, this would be something if you're getting your tripod lower. And then here's the second one where you could be get really low. So when you're gonna use the tripod like this, again, when you're gonna use the legs like that, and so you'd have the tripod really close to the ground, right? If you put all 3 legs like that, you'd go ahead and take this out of here. I'm not gonna do it right now because it's so self-explanatory. And you just stick this center column, which comes with the tripod, which is really nice. And you'd use this one, and that way you'd be able to get really close to the ground, like 6 inches off the ground, or maybe, even 4 inches or whatever. So if you're like me, we covered, it's pretty much the perfect height, that 7 foot or so area. You might want to go with there's a smaller one, and I'll go ahead and link that one below too, so you can check that one out. If you don't necessarily like to put your tripod up high on average, I would go ahead and get that one, and it's cheaper too, okay? We also got the check mark of the ease of operation, which is my personal and most important factor. I mean, this is the thing you're adjusting all day in the field, moving around and adjusting, getting down low, coming back up, moving the center column. And this one really does operate well in that respect. It's really easy just to move around. And I love these turn knobs. That's personally my favorite way to be able to adjust tripod legs, the turning legs, whatever you call them. So you got the height, you've got the functionality of just the ease of operation, and you've got that weight too, which is really great. So in my opinion, you put a nice geared head on top of this thing, on top of the new Benro, and you've got pretty much the perfect setup for real estate photography.